Hello.
So nice to be here. Hi, I'm Jenn Eisenberg, and I'm the CEO of Bold Arts, which is a kids dance and arts mobile program. I'm not a new business. So I've listened to the Money Hungry Mama a lot, and I know people are at different stages of their lives and forming businesses. After motherhood, before motherhood,
Hmm.
I started a business and then became a mom. So it's all
Love it.
woven together.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so how long have you been in business?
So I incorporated Bold in 2014. So it's more than 10 years old.
Guys, we have more than a decade. Okay, this is exciting. This is exciting. This is going to sway my questions a little bit. Okay. So, first off, tell us how this idea came to be and what it truly is.
Yes. So I say mobile dance program. So that
Hmm.
means that I personally am now based in New Jersey, but when I started Bold Arts, my husband and I were living in Brooklyn, and we weren't, as I mentioned, we weren't yet parents. I started Bold because I was a dance teacher. I have a degree in dance education. I was teaching in a bunch of different settings and many that I loved, and I learned a lot from those experiences. So Bold Arts started in 2014, actually even a little bit before that, before it had a name and before it was incorporated. It was an idea. I was already a dance teacher. I was doing a lot of the things that then became the program.
Hmm.
I was teaching with lots of organizations, teaching dance in lots of different kinds of settings. And it was really born out of was a teacher at a private school in Hoboken, New Jersey. I'm actually still the dance teacher there. And a group of really engaged, wonderful, excited students wanted more of what we were doing together. So one summer, I asked a couple of my very good friends, a music teacher and a fellow dance teacher, if they wanted to start and do a 1 week summer program with me. And that was the inception. It wasn't called anything, it was just a week of dance camp at that location. And we had, I think, 31 kids the first summer. It was like amazing
Wow.
the gate. And from there, the following summer, there were 2 weeks in two different locations. And then the dance teacher friend that was on board teaching with me became my business partner. And for many years, we built together and we built Bold Arts.
Wow. Okay. So, what is the whole structure of Bold Arts now?
So now I live in New Jersey. The company
Hmm.
has partner locations in both around New Jersey, mostly northern New Jersey. So Union County, Hudson County, a few other kind of locations once in a while, and around the city. We also have a couple of partner locations in Westchester, and we do a little bit of work in the Catskills. So when I say partner locations, those can range from schools, private schools, preschools, kind of community hubs. Like we partner
Very cool.
with them in Summit, New Jersey, and the range of programming, it can be classes during the school day, classes after school that parents sign up for, and camps. So sometimes summer camps and sometimes more like one-off sort of vacation camps.
Very cool. So, can you tell us about some of these classes that you host?
I would love to. Yeah, so really the reason that I felt Bold had to exist was that my degree is in dance education. When I went to college for dance and dance education, right away they asked if we wanted to choreograph a piece and then a show. And at that time I was like, well, yes, but I have no idea how to do any of this. Like, I've been training as a dancer. I've been taking classes from people who tell me what to do. What do you mean I can create my own material? I think I had done it. And the creative spark was certainly like a part of my path and the reason I fell in love with dance. I definitely choreographed on my little brother in our backyard. But then between that time when I was 8 or 9 and the time that I went to college and they said choreograph a show, no one had really asked my opinion on what to create. That was a wake up call to me that in the dance world, there are a lot of incredible programs for people to train to many different dance styles and do them beautifully and pursue them to whatever extent people want to. And dance is a creative art form, and there are not as many spaces for people to pursue it in a creative way, even though that's oftentimes the door that leads people in.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. Amazing. So let's say like a school is hiring you. What are you going to do at the school that day?
Yeah. So sorry, I don't know if I really answered your question, but the
It's okay.
in a school, so we have a range of classes, but what we tell any partner that's interested in working with us is that we will come in and offer in high energy, engaging classes that kids at any access point can connect with. So they may have previous dance experience, they may not have previous dance experience. And what we do is we give them tools to create. So if we teach, like we have a very popular class called Bold Pop, which is done to high energy, like clean,
Fun.
popular kids music. And our teachers may teach a phrase that's the chorus of the song, but then we're turning it to kids of any age to be in the driver's seat. So maybe they're learning the chorus of, like I use Katy Perry Firework as like a reference point. Maybe they're learning the chorus taught by the teacher in a really energetic way that gets them excited, but then they're broken up maybe into pairs or into small groups and given a challenge to create based on some prompt. And then that becomes whatever they showcase and they share with their families or friends or whoever becomes the audience. So that happens at any age and at any in any of our programs. Like in our summer camps, there's a show at the end of each week and it's in any setting, it will look different because the group of children is different and they're creating and they're contributing to whatever the performance is.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I get it. And this is exciting. So basically, you're not a dance class. The teacher's not going to stay and dance the whole entire time. It's more of the kids getting prompts and fun things, and then they get to create and be the directors and choreographers. How cool is that?
Thank you.
Wow. I love that. That is so different. Okay, amazing. This is really, really fun. Okay, so you've been doing this for so many years at this point. Now, what has been the difference between starting and now when it comes to marketing? How were you marketing back then versus now?
Good question. Honestly, we've relied on word of mouth so much through the years,
Yeah, for sure.
kind of consistently. What's the difference in marketing? Let me just think about that. I would say I can talk about the similarity first, which is that I have found that a lot of administrators in programs,
Hmm.
really our new schools are schools that an administrator maybe traveled from a place that previously worked with us and then they're in a new setting and they want to bring bold arts. I would say the biggest difference in 10 years is that I'm really still figuring out how to do like ads properly and make
Yeah.
the best use of social media. I guess here I am today with you sitting here and looking at myself on the screen, but for a long time I really didn't feel comfortable. Like I would see people walking down the street in New York holding their phones and talking to what I knew was their social and I would laugh and say like my business is going to cave because I don't want to do that. I don't
Hmm.
comfortable for me. So I think that that's still an area that there's room for growth. I need to get more comfortable with that and I know I'm not maximizing like the rhythms of how to come up in people's searches. I don't even remember what that's called. There's something on
The
Google
algorithm.
how to show up in people's algorithm. I don't know how to do that. I don't pretend that that's a specialty of mine.
Okay, guys, I'm loving this already because it's a business of 10 years, and she's still trying to figure out algorithms and social medias and all the things, but it's a business. So you've been in business for all these years. So what has been your main source of marketing if social media has not been it?
Yeah. So the main source of marketing is just word of mouth. Thankfully, we have partnered with some, I feel like, really big hubs, big community centers, and their
There you go.
places that people know about and people interact with us. And, I guess our I've put a lot of energy into training teachers to make sure that the programs are consistent. So I think a lot of the marketing comes from the teachers being really fantastic and branded, like wearing our logo wear when they're teaching
Love it.
and that I saw it during COVID, like as a little an aside, I guess. But in terms of marketing, like that was a very interesting time to be in the kids provider space. Um, can I talk about that? Is that
Yeah, of course. Tell everything.
yeah, that it felt like for a minute, like deer in headlights for all of us, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do we pivot when sort of
Mhm.
we're changing in the world? But at that time, I partnered with this platform called Sawyer. It's called Hi Sawyer or Help Sawyer. Do you know this platform? You might
Yeah.
have walked through them. So it's a great listing platform where people find classes. I partnered with them and things closed down on a Friday. All our classes stopped in person. And on Monday, we had classes online, and kids were coming and taking class from like all over. So we were listed on Sawyer. So I think that that platform really helped us to stay afloat and stay visible and have some marketing. We were teaching, like in 2021, I was pregnant with my first son, and we were running like 5 classes a day in Central Park and Riverside Park. And I still get calls today from people who say, "Oh, my daughter and her best friend were in a pod in Riverside Park in 2021, and now they're 10. And what class can they take?" Or something like that. So just the
My gosh, that must feel so good. And I think what is something that not even sure if you recognized it, but your marketing was actually pairing up with businesses, collaborating. Like that truly was your marketing. Being able to go to these different places and go into their spaces and get in with their network. And this is why, guys, like I always say collaboration over competition because you could really work together to grow each other's businesses. And I love that we just talked about, because we have not talked about that yet on the podcast, COVID and some of the businesses that had started pre-COVID and what it shifted and what it did. I definitely think for myself, COVID definitely brought in online space. And it wasn't something that was really, I mean, you have to do it. Everybody knew about social media, but we didn't realize how important it was at the time until that started. And then everything became online. And being a part of Sawyer, or there's like also Eventbrite where you can put your events. And there's also a thing called Outschool for everybody listening that wants to like teach something online that might not have a teaching degree. That it could be something that you could do, right? Collabing with these different businesses was such a great way to market. So yes, you weren't putting your face on social media, but girlfriend, you had to go into these businesses and pitch yourself and collab and make it work. So you were still the face of your brand. So that is really, really cool. My gosh. So how has your business evolved in the 10 years? Like, have you seen certain age groups that are really a lot more, or what would you say? Like, who are you really targeting at this point?
that we've crystallized who our audience is. We are, I think in the beginning we kind of said yes to everything and
Yep.
like marketed birthday parties and marketed kind of just everything. Like if one person asked for it, it seems like a good direction to go. So we started marketing that thing. And now we're sort of still saying yes to things that come up as long as we can staff them. But like I don't really market birthday parties. We don't really market classes for toddlers. It's not really the part of what we do. I know that we work really well with preschool and elementary age children.
Hmm.
We do have some programs on the periphery of that, but that's really the heart of what we do. And when it's helped, because it's helped me to understand, even in creating a job listing, who are the people that we're looking for to teach these classes? What experiences do they need to have? What dance styles? All of
Yeah.
it helps to inform and streamline the process.
I'm pumped that you just brought up the fact that in the beginning you were saying yes to everything. That is something that, guys, if you are listening and being like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing that. Yes, we have all done it. I have just recently done it with the Money Hungry Mama. And it's like, when you're a new business, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're a brand new business, you are in that weird space of you have this incredible idea, but then when people start asking for other things, you're like, well, I don't want to say no because maybe they're seeing something that I should be doing that I don't know that I should be doing. And instead of standing your ground from the beginning, you try all these different things and people start throwing things at you and you're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden one day it's just like, hold up, pump the brakes. I'm exhausted. What do I even want to do anymore? Because I really do feel like when you're starting to say yes to every single thing, you hit a wall. Did you hit a wall?
For sure. I mean, the mix of like I feel like I feel like I'm in maybe in chapter 3. I was kind of taking notes before and I thought maybe I'm in chapter 2 of this, but I actually think I've moved into chapter 3 of being
Love
a
it.
business owner, which feels like there was chapter 1, which was like the creation process and
Mhm.
getting a bunch of the partners and keeping those relationships going, figuring out the systems. Like I mentioned, I had a really wonderful business partner for a big chapter of Bold Arts, and she was incredible at researching and like just making decisions. Like, I've researched these different payroll systems and we're going to use this one, and this is why. She was really good at that. So, like, the first stage, I feel like we figured out how to do the programs,
Mhm.
mostly with the two of us teaching them how to put some systems in place. And then COVID came and like spun everything around. And simultaneously, I became a mom. So and then my sons are born in 2020. They're 2 and 4. So
Wow.
one born in 2021 and 2023. And my business partner became a mom before me. So I took over the business and learned like everything she was doing in 2020 and 2021, or 2020, really 2021. And then I was really just trying to stay afloat. I think chapter 2, the title of chapter 2 would be like, keep swimming. Trying to keep going and like leaving to like pump and nurse and like do all the mom things and then coming
Mhm.
back to it. And I finally feel like I'm in a growth phase again now because, I understand it enough and have great, amazing teachers and can just continue to say yes again, but with a more discerning approach.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And honestly, like, first off, I have what months in 2021 and 2023?
Jasper, my older son is born in August of 21 and my
What day?
August 16th.
My Noah is 8 and he's August 4th. And then what's your youngest?
My little one is Sage and he is born July 23.
Okay, so they're just like my 2, 4 and 2. Ella was April 2021 and Lukey is March of 2023. So you are literally just like how our mine is too. That's so cute. Okay. Anyway, that was just like a mom moment of like,
Yeah,
tell me about your kids. Okay.
for sure.
When it comes to what you just said, and oh my gosh, guys, like I don't know if you are getting the chills like I'm getting the chills, but that first chapter is the creative chapter. Like, where is your business going? I feel like honestly, that first chapter is the most fun. But it is exhausting, right? But it's the most fun because it's like, what am I? Like, you have this moment to be like, I can be literally whatever I want. Your business can be physically whatever you want. So I think it's also one of the best chapters. But then you hit chapter number 2, where now you're established. Now you're trying to figure out the really annoying things, guys, the annoying things of the marketing and the back end and all like the not so fun, great things anymore. And I think that this is where most people quit because the percentages of businesses that do not last past 3 years is absurd, right? Like it's nuts. And the fact that you're sitting here, brand new mom, two kids, you were probably drowning in motherhood, drowning in this business that you wanted to work so bad, still working full time, and you kept swimming. Like I actually have chills. Like you didn't stop. And because of that, here you are 10 years into this business and now you're back in the growth phase. So for all of you that are sitting there in your keep swimming phase, I promise you with every bone in my body, if you physically, oh, look, I'm tearing up. If you physically want this business and it is something that is on your heart and it gets hard and it gets exhausting and you want it, you think about quitting, it is that moment. It is that moment that's going to decide, is your business going to succeed or are you done? And you don't have to continue it. It could be a pivot in the business. It could be something that you didn't like that you want to, but it's in that moment of the entrepreneur spirit of, okay, am I done being an entrepreneur or am I just up leveling into something different? And I think that that is the biggest moment that we all hit. And I would love to hear anybody listening come tell us in the free Facebook group because that is going to be the question. I need to hear your pivotal moment. And right now, Jenn, that day that you decided, okay, I'm going to keep swimming, tell us about that day.
Honestly, I can really remember it. It was one.
I know you can.
You feel,
I know.
actually, like it's amazing that you say day because it was obviously much more than a day and lots of pushing through and learning and trying to figure out how to get the help that I needed to make it happen. But we were on a road trip with Jasper. He was one, and my business partner was so supportive and really trying to like coach me on all the stuff and wrapping up that year 2022. It was the end of 2022. She wanted to be out by the end of 2022, even though I knew she would still be around to help if I needed her. And I was like on stopped at a roadside organic smoothie bar with Jasper, like waiting in the car with my husband for me to come back to the car as she was telling me like how to close things out on QuickBooks. And I came back pretty sure I came back to the car and said to my husband, like, I'm really not sure if I can do this. And uh from that point, like I guess I just decided that I could. I he
Yeah.
you know, I have a luckily have a supportive partner and family, and I had a little person by that point who's also, our decisions, passion. For me, it's like dance has always been my passion. Education and dance have been my passion since as far back as I can remember.
Mhm.
But there's for sure a whole other layer a bunch of things. Like once you hire people and it becomes a part of their livelihood and they're counting on the work. Once you have a family that you are actually supporting and actually contributing to
Mhm.
creating the kind of life that you want for your family. For me, it became non-negotiable. Like just I knew I had previously had a full-time job alongside creating Bolt. That went away kind of around when I had my first, and I couldn't imagine applying to or trying to create something else full time. I want the kind of life where I have time flexibility and I can mostly be with my kids.
Yeah.
That's where I think I said, I really don't know how to do so much of this. I'm really like just I the overwhelm was very real for me in those moments. Um,
Mhm.
but ins- I knew I couldn't let go.
Oh my gosh. And it's so true because, just like the freedom, the wanting to be there, the knowing that you are taking care of other people, like it is this heavy, beautiful weight. Like it's such a weird feeling of being, and can I just say this, guys? I love, and you know that she's been doing this for a long time. And I meant to say it in the beginning of the episode when she said it, but I let it go. She walked in saying, I am the CEO of Bold Arts. Like it wasn't, "Hi, I started Bold Arts," or "I did whatever." She claimed that title. No, I am the CEO. And I honestly think that was the first time it's been said here. And you're gonna be like the 60th something episode. It is just shows like for everybody listening, when you're in the beginning stages and all these things, it's almost like we're scared to say that. Like it's almost like who am I to say that I'm the CEO of the Money Hungry Mama? Like, and that took a little bit. And like, it's not like I'm obviously not new to business. It's just that weird feeling in the beginning of like, who can I possibly be to claim this title? And the fact that you came in and said it, I want every single person to look in the mirror and practice this because I'm obsessed with the way you just came in and say it because it was such a position of power. And like, yeah, you know what? I did the creative, I did the second chapter of swimming, and now I'm growing and I'm the CEO.
For sure.
Like,
I didn't say it. For many years, I said, I'm a dancer and a teaching artist. And
mhm,
I heard somebody else say it recently on your podcast. You kind of like whisper in crowded spaces, like about what you do as if it's,
mhm.
with a shy voice. And I don't know if I'm not going to own it now, when will I? Like, this is it.
Oh my gosh, chill. Jen, I've gotten so many chills from this because I think what I love the most of knowing that you've been in it for 10 years is that do you still love it?
For sure. Of course I do.
Yeah. And it's like it gets better. So for everybody that's upset or in the real thick of entrepreneurship, it's just like motherhood. When you're in the thick of it, there's going to be a space to breathe and it is going to be the most beautiful space. And I just, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this episode right now. So if there's a mom listening right now that wanted to start a business, what would you tell her?
Ask for help. You have to ask for help and be specific. Ask for help from the person you know who can keep your child the most entertained for an hour if you need an hour. For help If you need a virtual assistant, there are ways to have a virtual assistant that are not overwhelmingly expensive. Ask for help.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be expensive and it doesn't have to be a huge load. There are communities, there are other moms, there are other people who've started businesses in similar spaces to nothing is new anymore. We're in 2025. I don't
100%.
My business is not like so innovative that I couldn't figure out who to ask, in some way, like dig around
100%.
for people, ask. People want to help, that's the other side of it is like, I would love to help more moms to figure out how to take the thing that they've loved forever to turn it into something that helps them to sustain their lives and their families.
That is the best advice. Usually, like, if I ask that question, it's like, go for it, which, yes, 100% go for it. But to ask for help, I think that is such a hard thing to do. And I just think it's because for so many years we were like depicted as needing to take on everything and be okay with it and do all the mold. And now I honestly feel like us millennials are a little bit like, hold up, stop. We need a partner. Like, if I'm working too, we do need help. And I think it is really cool to see. And I love that that was your piece of advice. And guys, as I was sitting here listening and I was like, oh my gosh, ask for help. If you are in the same space as another mom that wants to build a business, you guys could do like a babysitting pod together where one of you gets an hour and one is watching the other kids and then the other one gets an hour and nobody has to pay anybody anything. You're just helping each other in your same shared space.
Totally. That it's and you're doing the same thing. I think the reason the money hungry mama exists is because you want people to come to you. Like you have so many resources. You've created these groups. There's space for moms to not feel alone in creating whatever, even if the niche feels specific. The stepping stones to getting to wherever you're going are not, you don't have to be in isolation.
100%. And like, you know, my everybody at this point, hopefully, I don't want to keep reiterating, so I feel bad, but I wanted to create a space that I didn't have when I started. That's the whole point of this. I don't want mom spending millions of dollars to learn how to do business. Like, that's why everything I have is such a low cost. But today, one of the moms was like, you know what? I love the fact that there are so many different moms in different businesses because I'm learning so much. Yes, you are, because marketing is the same in business. It's just done differently. And you're getting so many ideas from all these different businesses because they're thinking differently. And I just think that that is really, really cool. But for the babysitting aspect, I definitely think if there's some mom that lives near you and you guys are doing it for free because babysitting is expensive, let's call a spade, then that would be something that could really help out, especially in the beginning. So, Jen, tell me, what is next for Bold Arts?
This is in this next growth phase. This is something I've been thinking about a lot of ideas. I'm exploring like licensing people to be able to teach this approach in other places. There have been some people who've taught dance in other settings who've reached out to me about kind of starting a business. And I guess I have to decide if I'm wanting to train people and then let them roll with it, or if I want to be more involved than that and explore more of a franchise model. I'm also really interested in some version of coaching. It's not something that I've fleshed out in any way. I don't have an offer or a pitch for it, but I feel like all the things that go with like business in this, I guess my particular space is like kids enrichment provider. Like I would love to help other people start businesses. If somebody's teaching like one karate class in their friend's backyard, like let's turn it into something real. I would love to help people to do that. So those are just ideas that are floating around, and in the very real future, what's next is that tomorrow I'm going to sub some classes for one of the teachers who is leaving to do a holiday show, and, taking my own 4-year-old with me when I go and teach a class on Friday, and just, continuing to stay present with all the things that are happening.
So great. It's so great. And I can't wait to see where you go with this. I'm definitely interested in, because if it is a franchise, then you coaching them could be part of the franchise. You know what I mean? Like you prepping them and teaching them how to brand and doing all those things, like that could be a part of the franchise. So I think that that is something really interesting. And I think it's going to happen. because you have been here for 10 years and you are not turning back anytime soon. So that is really fun. Oh my gosh. Okay. What is one mistake that you wish you can go back and tell yourself when you started?
One mistake. I think I should have committed to it sooner. There are all sorts of factors that play into it, but I think I spread myself too thin. I felt like I had to hold on to all these other pieces and like security of other commitments.
Mhm.
I I probably could have benefited from going like all in sooner. Um and just trusting. Still it's something I'm still working on is having faith in the process and trusting. If I could go back, 5 years pre-kids, I think I just would have done a little less of the other stuff so that I could do more of bold.
Yeah. I love that answer because honestly, like going all in is hands down the scariest thing. And, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I can't promise that if you go all in, you're going to make it. It really does come down to who you are and the grit and heart that you have when times get tough. But to hear somebody say, I wish I went all in, even though it was extremely hard and you hit those rough patches, is just like really eye opening for me because that is just something that you get so even myself, like, you get so scared of the thought of leaving security and leaving, all of that behind, and it's like, imagine what could happen if you do. And again, guys, this is not me telling you to go and do it, and don't take this as your sign unless, feel it's your sign, right? I am not promising anybody that if you go all in, you're gonna 100% do it. It honestly comes down to who you are as a business owner and the grit that you have in your heart and how often that you're gonna do it. But great answer. So, one silly question here. If you weren't doing a creative business for kids, what other entrepreneur journey would you do?
Very hard to imagine myself separate. It's like bold arts is me. Like the love of dance, the creativity, the movement, the love of movement and fitness. It's like that's who I am. I don't really know myself separate from that. I guess something else probably with kids. I'm curious, like I see people creating really cool looking businesses that are like co-working spaces where there are activities
Yeah.
for kids at the same time, like, that I guess that's something that I feel like I need, like, an area for my kids to play where I can watch them, but actually still get stuff done, so maybe I'm just speaking from, like, if you have a business like that and you're in New Jersey, can you tell me about it? Because I wanna come there.
And it's so funny because that is like a 10-year goal of mine is to have a money hungry mama space.
Amazing.
And that was something that I was talking about with my husband. I was I have this whole idea of a business in my mind. Do I think it will work? I don't know, but I think it'd be really cool to try, but it's my 10-year plan. That's so funny.
Amazing, you should do it. There's a need for it.
Okay. What does being a money hungry mama mean to you?
I like this question, and I've thought a lot about it. Okay, let's see if I can synthesize. I think being a money hungry is realizing that you will do anything for the thing that you love, whatever whatever that is. The purpose that you love, the innovation, whatever you've created, or your family, really.
Mhm.
When it comes down to it, now I'm a committed mama. I will do anything for my kids.
Yep.
Part of that is, as many of the moms on your show have said, giving them the opportunity to see me in a space that is for me,
Mm,
a space that allows me to be my best self and also be
I
with
love
them
it.
and provide for them.
Very, very cool. Oh my gosh. I love that was your answer. I think it was just such a beautiful answer because we are moms and I always make the joke like a business is a business baby, but like it's true. I think, once you become a mom, you get this mama bear mode. And once you're an entrepreneur, you get that same weird mode. Yes, it's a different kind of love, obviously, but it's there. That fight, that heart is right there with it.
For sure.
That was an incredible answer. Oh my gosh. So, Jen, how can our listeners support you?
Thanks so much. You can follow me on social, Bold Arts. You can follow me on my personal. I'm Jenn Eisenberg. You can go and sign up for our newsletter on our website. And if you're in New Jersey or New York City, there are programs if your kids are looking for a creative way to dance and move, or really,
So cool.
if it feels like you're called to reach out to me and I can support you in any way through a conversation or a cup of tea. Actually, I'm not a coffee drinker, but a cup of tea, or I'll sit with you while you have coffee. I'm here.
My gosh, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. And thanks for what you do. Thanks for the space.
Thank you.